For our first anniversary, we look at Uganda was president. A wise man once told me that when you hear birds begin to sing in the early morning, it is sending you a message, asking you to wake up and start looking for food to feed your family. That is a leadership style that begins from the grassroots. You have to take care of your family. You have to make sure that they have food to eat. You have to make sure that you take care of your family. My father used to tell me that a man without a culture is a man without destiny. A man without a culture is a man without a homestead. A man without a culture is a man without dreams. Don't let anybody come to your homestead and tell you that your culture is not good enough. Don't let anybody deceive you that their culture is better than yours. The culture we have is a pillar that binds us together as a tribe, as a village, as the people of Uganda. For our first anniversary, Wang-oo just turned 1 year. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the crew and all Wang-oo teams who worked very hard and made our journey a success. We are in the process of making Wang-oo, the fireplace, even better. Soon, we are going to roll out a website that will connect us to all of you, wherever you are. And in the planning, we will start doing interviews online. And those are the achievements. We'll let you know as soon as we launch that process. When I was growing up, we used to hear some of those eldest boys talking about cutting down a big tree. At that moment, I didn't understand what they were talking about. But as I'm growing older today, I realize that what they were talking about was a divide and rule strategy. A strategy that is almost bringing Uganda to their knees. They use radio 𝙏𝙗𝙖, spin doctors, to spread lies like wildfire. And we did believe in it, creating a friction between us as people of Uganda, setting the Bagandas against the other tribe, setting up the other tribes against the Baganda. Just to shake up the ground we walk on. And they kept on bragging all these years that if you want to cut down a big tree, you have to start by the branches. And when you cut down the branches, then it's very easy to get the big tree down in one blow. What they were talking about was causing confusion in Uganda, causing confusion among Ugandans. And as a result, we have seen a lot of misunderstanding and wars that is continuously destroying Uganda. When they were bragging about cutting down a big tree, they were promoting assassination of Ugandans from top to bottom, murder, killing, creation of genocide, like the 𝙒𝙗𝙇𝙇𝙊𝙗 genocide, like the 𝙁𝙊𝙇 genocide, like the killing, murder, rape that had been going on in Uganda since independence. What are really the symptoms of a worse leadership? It is simple, my brothers and sisters. When you see your own people being killed in the name of a revolution that never should have happened, then you know that that is the worst symptoms of leadership. When you see our brothers and sisters are being tear gassed in their own homeland, then you realize that those are the symptoms of failed leadership. Before I go deep into the worst president of Uganda, let me go back to a source that created the confusion we are in today. A friend of mine used to say that Radio Katwe moves faster than sound. If you want to tell a lie, you just pass it to the Radio Katwe, and the spin doctors will turn it around because they are very good in what they do. They can turn stones into bins and bins into stones. They created a lot of confusion, and their aim was simple. We have to get our hand on power. And they succeeded. Now let's take a look back since we got independent. When we got independent in 1962, problem started brewing up, and Radio Katwe, with its spin doctors, became more visible. It started setting up Ugandans against Ugandans. For all these years, we have had people talking about Obote as being a bad person. But to be honest, Dr. Apple Milton Obote was not a bad person. They are talking about him destroying the Buganda kingdom. That is not true. This is what happened. When Major General Sir Edward Mutesa II accepted the post of a president of Uganda, is when he destroyed his own kingdom. His members of parliament, the Kabaka party, started crossing over to Uganda People's Congress. Some prominent DP member of parliament started crossing over to Uganda People's Congress. And it gave Dr. Obote the weapon through his Attorney General, 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣𝙠 to draft a constitution that abolished the kingdom. It was Kabaka Mutesa who destroyed the federal system the British left behind. If he didn't take that position of the president of Uganda, Uganda would have been, until now, ruled by a prime minister. And all these years, we keep on hating one another simply because a spin doctor sitting somewhere twisting the truth into lie. And that was the beginning of a stool dance within the power of Africa. Dr. Obote himself, he destroyed his own government. Because he was a man who have laid his eggs in few baskets. He trusted only few people who were very close to him, like Rakasisi, Peter Otai, and 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙇. And to be honest, the language may blame other Ugandans, or other Ugandans may blame the language for what happened during Obote's government. But Obote brought it to himself. He didn't listen to people like Paul Mwanga. He didn't listen to people like 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙇 because he had already put his eggs in the basket of the three men I mentioned before. When you turn to 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙇, 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙇 was not a bad person, but he killed a lot of people simply because he lacked leadership. He could not control his soldiers, even though he bought them on the civic and he gave them cars. He had lost control of the army. The army was going around killing people, doing bad things, and he could not keep them together. And a simple visit, a cross-border drinking party, turned into an invasion of Kagera in Tanzania. And that led to the Tanzanian Defense Forces, together with Ugandan exiles in Tanzania, to take him out. And they took him out. If you look at the other president, like Yusuf Lule and Binaisa, they were not bad leaders. They were highly educated. But listening to Radio Katwe and spin doctors brought them down. Brought them down. And they came down simply because they were greedy. They were greedy. They wanted more than they could chew. They started following a wrong path simply because the power was sweeter than reality. When you look at the president, like Basilio Olara Okello, Tito Okello Lutua, their status as elders their roles in Uganda leadership since we got independent led to their downfall. But mainly because of their kindness that turned into weakness. They wanted to bring Ugandans together. They wanted to keep Ugandans together. And those who were close to Radio Katwe, spin doctors, brought them down. Brought them down. And when we look at Yoweri Museveni, the present president of Uganda, he is the only president that shoot out in the category of bad leadership. Wherever the man put his foot on, people die. In 1972, he led a group of Ugandans from Tanzania to their death because he lied that he had troops in Barara. The troops he didn't have. He was blindfolded. He liked wars. He loved power. He created the Luwero Triangle and then blame it on someone else. He created the Acholi Triangle. He put people into concentration camp. And with the help of Radio Katwe and the spin doctors, he created a brilliant genocide in Acholi land, a brilliant genocide in northern Uganda, a genocide that took so many lives. He is the master of war. His hands extended to Sudan, to Congo, to Somalia, to Central African Republic. And we don't know where his big foot is going to step on in the coming years. When you look at Ugandans being sprayed with tear gas, people being killed for the last 34 years, then you know that the man himself is a danger to Ugandan society. He kills without mercy, and he doesn't have shame at all. When a child is shot down by the police, they do nothing about it. They offer the family 10 million. Money cannot buy life. And let me be honest with you. You had been patient waiting to know who is the worst president of Uganda. Believe me, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is the worst president of Uganda since independence. And those of you who don't believe the truth, as we move on to the election of 2021, you will see more people getting killed, more people getting assassinated, more people getting thrown out of their own land. And that is going to happen. It is time Ugandans leave behind Radio Katwe and the spin doctors and try to put wrong right. Thank you for listening. I will be back.